It's recording. Check out this song real quick, it's cool. Sounds like it was made by extraterrestrials. Aliens. It's called New Vectors by Igloo Ghost. In case you care, you probably don't. So, I don't really have much of a life right now. Aside from working and spending time with family and trying to get all my shit back in a group after these last 4 months, I have a lot of free time. So I channel a lot of that now towards my YouTube videos, and kind of silly, but I enjoy it. So whatever. I mean, you have your hobbies. You might be obsessed with porn or watching football or, you know, whatever. Everyone has their own thing. Isn't this cool? Is that better or worse? Paper? No paper. So I want to tell you guys a story about something that happened last year. I thought last year was crazy, but this year might take the cake. No, last year was the wildest year of my life. I went 5 consecutive months in and out of like manic/psychotic episodes. I was pretty much crazy the entire time. I got this tattoo to represent 2018. So this represents the hardship in my life, and then the O represents like opportunity and like hate, love, bad, good, yin, yang. Could be hugs, could be kisses. Oops, other way around. But I don't know. They mean something to me, I guess. Never thought I was a tattoo person, but I got those. Last year, it was August, and I had just gotten out of jail, and me and my jail best friend / jail soul sister got a motel together, and we were like super broke, and we're gonna move in together, and I'm like, I'm gonna be her, I felt like her caretaker, like her guiding force. Like we were in jail together, and the very first time I met her, she was sitting next to me writing a letter to the judge. And she's like, "Dear Honorable Judge so-and-so, I know I fucked up." And I read it and I was like, no, let me write that for you. So I wrote her this like 1-page, like super genuine letter to the judge, and I'm like, there you go, sweetheart. And ever since that, it was history. I mean, we've had some times. Anyway, so we got a motel room, and she would use my car all the time, and I would just stay inside and like make videos and clean and rearrange things and like get lost in my own devices on my phone and my Instagram, and I was bananas. Like, I hadn't slept in a long time. And when I got out of jail, they gave me like these cardboard med packs where you can pop each day out. Well, it was maybe less than a week after I got out of jail that I was so psychotic that I don't know if you guys know what psychotic means or what psychosis is, but if you don't, and if you're gonna be watching my YouTube channel, you should probably explore those things. Explore more about bipolar disorder, mania, depression, and psychosis. It's actually pretty interesting. I'm not trying to push my shit on you. I'm just saying, people should know these things because mental illness is becoming more and more common amongst more and more people these days. So know your shit so you can know how to deal with them when they're your friend or your daughter or your mom. So anyway, I was so psychotic that I was like, okay, the medication that I took at the time, which I still take, called Lamictal or lamotrigine, I felt that it made me happy and it gave me a sex drive, and I was like, that's awesome. So it was my reasoning that if I, like, the more I take, the hornier and the happier I'll be. So I pop one and then I pop an extra one. I'm like, I give it some time and I'm like, okay. And I pop another one. And at that point, I start to feel really strange. And it was nighttime. We stayed at the Budget Inn on East North Street, which for people who are watching this that don't know what East North Street is, it's like, there's a lot of Native Americans that live over there. There's a lot of poverty. It's like the ghetto, but like, I don't know, it's not really a ghetto to me. I've lived over there before and I have a lot of friends over there. But anyway, so I was walking down the street to the gas station to buy some cigarettes. And I'm feeling funky as hell. Like, I'm walking on the left side of the street and I'm listening to music and I'm just walking kind of stiff and straight. I'm on a mission. And all of a sudden, these three girls across the street start coming at me like this. And then I'm listening to this Neon Indian song. I think I was listening to Annie. And I like see them and I start doing this back. I'm like, Annie, don't run away. Like, it was, and I fucking scared them off and they just kept walking. And I was like, holy shit, I almost got jumped. And then that song got over and it was the weirdest thing ever. So I have seen the devil's face before. 2012, I know I'm kind of getting off track, but I have a point here. In 2012, I had my first psychosis and I was locked in a room for 4 days. Well, the guy on the other side, because they'll like watch you and take notes and shit, and he was on the other side of the window. His face turned into the devil's and he kind of like cocked his head to the side like, I want your soul. And I was just like, fuck you. And I was like slapping the walls and hitting the window and spitting on the window and ripping my clothes off and like be acting like a crazy animal. But I saw the devil's face and I have had conversations with the devil, and maybe you don't believe it and you don't fucking have to. You don't have to, bro. No one's making you believe me. But I looked at my phone, so I was walking and the song just got over and I looked at my phone screen and it skipped to a video that is totally irrelevant to, like on YouTube, totally irrelevant to the Neon Indian. Like, usually it plays a song that's similar. No. I looked down at my phone screen and I saw the most terrifying. Like, she was beautiful, but she was so fucking scary. She had like stick straight. Like, if you ever seen The Ring, it's like that lady brushing her hair in the mirror. Like, fucking creepy. But it didn't look like that. She was beautiful. She kind of like had a Nicki Minaj skin tone, like really like super long down to her like halfway down her thighs kind of hair. And she was looking at me like, and it was like a music video and she was like looking at me and saying this shit and she was looking at me like this was no real music video. This shit was like the she-devil The shit was fucking terrifying. And I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, exit, oh fuck, what the fuck? So I get to the gas station, and this is like a block or two away from where those girls almost jumped me. And I walk in there, and the cops are there, and they're like, yeah, these girls are like jumping people, like blah, 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 and the cops are trying to find them. And I'm like, yeah, dude, they almost came and jumped me. And the cop, I actually knew him. I was really good friends with this lady named Josie when I was younger, and that's her husband. And I was just like, I'm scared, like, will you drive me back to the motel room? And he gave me his card, and he's like, call me if you need anything. And I'm like, okay. He's like, lock your doors and stay in. So I lock my doors, and this is where things take a turn for the worse. I decide I'm gonna take some more Lamictal, because the more I take, the better. I'm absolutely gonna end up in a dimension where I'm happy forever. I'll be in heaven. And I wasn't trying to kill myself when I did this. I literally believed I was going to be in a better reality than the hell I was living in. So maybe you want to say I was trying to kill myself, but I was doing the opposite, actually. And so I start popping them, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I take my lithium, probably 26 days worth. Pop, 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 pop. And then I take my risperidone, and I'm like, pop, 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 pop. Talk about the most terrifying. I've been through some scary shit, but this was the scariest, like, 10 hours of my life. So at that point, I'm going crazy. I plug all the drains, and I crank on the hottest water I can. So in the tub, I crank the hottest water. And in the sink, I plug the sink and crank the hottest water. And I start flooding the whole room. And I start taking my shit and dunking it in the water. And I had like purple shampoo. I put it all over my hair. And with cat litter, and I was doing this because I wanted my hair to be lavender. And then I dunk my head in scalding hot water with my eyes wide open, trying to make myself go blind. The room was absolutely fucking trashed. And it was so scary. Like, what it felt like to me physically, it felt like there was invisible forces shoving me. Boom, 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 back, forth, up, sideways. And I was walking like, oh my God. And then I have to be like, Amy, straight line, walk in a straight line, And I'd start bawling, please walk in a straight line. And I'd get in the tub and I'd slip and I'd bonk my head, and like, it was just absolutely, it was so scary. I never want to do that again. But I end up going outside of the hotel room. And at this point, it's probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, maybe 3. It's late enough that there's not very many cars on the road, maybe like 4 in the morning-ish. And I'm walking around East North Street, and like, what is that, La Crosse? And I remember like, I was like in contact with God, and I saw like the whole universe, and like, I had this deep understanding that it was all connected by love, and I saw like the vastness and whatever. And then I just remember these 2 guys approaching me, and then they disappeared, and I don't know what happened. But anyway, so the cops find me, and I'm going fucking bananas. Like, the cops come and they're both holding me down as hard as they can. And I'm like, it's like exorcism shit. I was like, fuck me, officers, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't even know how I survived that. That's like 70 to 90 pills that I took, all of different. The combination was insane. Oh my God, I'll never do that again. But I don't know if I said, but the cops found me and I was only wearing one shoe and one sock. I was completely naked. Right now, when I talk about it, I have this emotional tie to it, but if it kind of appears in my memory randomly, like, it doesn't touch me anymore. Which is good because it was absolute hell. Anyway, I need to get off my phone and I wish it wasn't dark out right now. And I wish I was hanging out with a friend. But here I am, telling my stories. And hopefully the next time I get on YouTube, I will talk about funny stuff and be happy. But like, I feel this heaviness right now, and I think I just need to I have this like Febreze thing that sprays out every like 9 minutes. It always scares the fuck out of me. I'm like, who's in my house? And my music just stopped randomly. Mobile data is restricted due to set limit to use data anyway. There's no limit. I have unlimited data, you piece of shit. Anyway, I don't want to listen to that song. I'm glad it stopped. Have yourselves a happy Friday, November 29th.